Hi everyone, my name is Sally Fowler. I'm the owner and trainer for Disabled Advantage. I wanted to answer a common question that I get by a lot of people who are learning more about service dogs, and that is, what is a good service dog breed, both in general or for CRPS specifically? And I imagine most people are expecting me to say, well, these are the top 10 breeds I would recommend to be a service dog. And I can't do that. I don't think I have 10 breeds right off the top of my head that I would recommend across the board to anybody who needed a service dog. And the reason for that is that I don't think there is one perfect breed or 10 perfect breeds for service dog work. I, having worked with a mess of mutts myself and seen other teams working together, the more I've learned about dog training and service dog training, I really feel that the best service dog breed for you is whatever's going to be the best dog for you and your needs, period. And there's going to be some breeds who I wouldn't recommend to be service dogs. Mastiffs come to mind simply because they have such a low drive to do stuff. They were not bred to go out and do. Um, and so I wouldn't necessarily recommend a Mastiff to somebody looking for a mobility service dog. Um, Also, all of the drool would make retrieve kind of messy. But that's my own personal opinion on that. There might be another trainer who disagrees with me. Um, Ultimately, what I feel is the best breed is, what do you need? As an individual who's disabled, either with CRPS or another disability, what do you need from a dog? Do you need mobility assistance? Do you need a dog who can open doors or help you stand up, stabilize you, help you walk, bring you your wheelchair or your cane, bring you your medication, or help you move heavy things like firewood or laundry? Because if you answered yes to any of those, the simple fact is you're going to need a dog who's big enough to do those tasks. But that may look like different breeds depending on what avenue you want to go through. If you want to go through a program, most service dog programs use retrievers or shepherds. Um, they usually have their own breeding program. Some of them work with shelter dogs, but that's not a very common thing. Um, if you if you need a program to train the dog for you, you're just gonna have to accept the breed that they give you. Um, but unfortunately, a lot of mobility service dog programs don't train counterbalance and bracing. I've spoken to some of their trainers, and they believe the dogs hate it, which I don't know what they're doing, but my dogs love their job, and their job absolutely includes brace work. So I would love to learn more about why they think dogs hate brace work. But if that's a task you need, your program dog may or may not come knowing that task, and then you'd need to train it yourself. And there's a chance a retriever may not be a big enough dog for you, depending on your height and weight. If you want to go through a breeder, you're going to have to try and find a reputable breeder who's breeding a breed that you know you want and you know you can train and you're prepared to train it yourself, or you found a private trainer who's going to train it for you, and you feel knowledgeable about that breed and the ability to work with it. Alternatively, you can do what I did and look for a shelter dog and get a surprise. Sometimes you find dogs that you can look at and say, yep, you're a German Shepherd, for sure. And other times you get dogs that are labeled as Labradors, and you take them home and you realize that it is absolutely not a Labrador. And that's just kind of how it goes. And that at that point, you end up with whatever you ended up with. Breed is important when you're considering a service dog, because you don't want to get a breed that's in direct conflict with what you're trying to do, or direct conflict with your lifestyle. So if you have CRPS, for instance, you may want to avoid high energy breeds because you don't want a dog who's just bouncing off the walls every day. You need a dog who can settle and have snuggle days in bed with you on your bad pain days. You need a dog who's not barking constantly because maybe you have sensory pain with your CRPS, and barking gives you vertigo and nausea and makes you feel like you're going to pass out, or you actually do pass out when a dog barks near you. And so those are things you would want to consider. You would maybe want to lean more towards a middle of the road dog with medium energy, as opposed to a dog that just wants to go, go, go all the time. But you could find that in a shelter dog, and it wouldn't necessarily be, hey, I need this dog. It's you ask questions, you learn information about a potential dog, and you get an idea about that dog's temperament, their personality, some of their characteristics, what their previous training is, and hopefully you're able to find a really good trainer who can work with you on shaping that dog into the service dog that you need it to be. And but breed does matter. It's not insignificant. I typically don't recommend people who have anxiety get something like a Doberman or a German Shepherd, just because the protective tendency is so hardwired into them that they may not work well with someone who has anxiety. But I know German Shepherds and Dobies make good service dogs. So it also comes down to that individual dog and that individual handler. There are plenty of assumptions you can make about breeds, and there's plenty of different opinions you can make about breeds, but ultimately it comes down to each individual dog and each individual handler and how well they're going to work together as a team. If you don't need a mobility dog, but you need an alert dog who tells you when people are at the door, or tells you when your blood sugars drop too low, or your heart's racing, you might be able to have a dog who's smaller than a mobility dog. So a dog who's smaller than 60 pounds. If you have a really active life, so you're disabled, maybe you have seizures, but you also love running and hiking and walking to the store and doing all sorts of stuff, you're going to want a dog who wants to do all of those things with you. You're going to want a dog who wants to just go, go, go all the time. You're not going to get along well with a dog who wants to be a couch potato. You're going to be fighting them every step of the way. They aren't going to have the drive to work with you and be with you on all of your adventures, and also be ready to alert to your seizures. So it's important to, anytime you're beginning to think about working with a service dog, I encourage you not to get stuck in a breed mind trap. Instead of focusing on what breeds would be good for you, my advice to you would be to sit down and write out what tasks you feel like you need. And if you need suggestions on tasks that are already a thing, International Association of Assistance Dog Partners has a wonderful list on their website of tasks, as does the website Anything Pausable. And you can look through those tasks and see what relate to your disability and relate to your needs. Write those down, and then also write down what your life is like, what your hobbies are, how active you are in a day. If you have stretches of time where you are really, really low activity or really, really high activity, things like that. And if you feel like you need a dog with a soft coat or a rough coat or a short coat or a long coat, if you enjoy grooming a dog, or if you have the added budget to be able to afford a dog groomer, or if you absolutely don't and need a dog who has really minimal grooming needs. And once you have those lists made, consult with a dog trainer, because the dog trainer is going to be able to take that list. Hopefully, a good dog trainer will be able to take that list and will be able to say, okay, here's what I'm going to recommend you do next. These are breeds I would recommend that you look into, be it a pure breed or a mix of these breeds. These are breeds I think you should stay away from, and here's why. Or they're going to help you find a dog directly, which is a really valuable asset to have as well, because that dog trainer should be able to evaluate the dog and tell you, this one's not so good, or yeah, this one has promise. Do you need help training them? So I don't want you to get lost in looking for the perfect breed for a service dog, because I don't think there is one. I've worked with 2 mutts so far as my own personal service dogs, and they're fantastic as service dogs. And they're a whole mess of things. So don't get stuck on breed. It really does come down to what you, the individual, need, and what that particular dog, whichever dog you find, wants to do for you. Because you're also going to encounter dogs that are stereotypical service dog breeds, the Labrador Retriever, for instance, who don't want to work. They just want to sleep on the couch. And you're going to find, probably somewhere, you're going to find couch potatoes who really want to work and really want to go out and do stuff. And so you can't use that breed as an end-all be-all predictor for what that individual dog is going to want to do with their life and what they're going to want to do with you. If you're interested in training your own service dog, or you want to learn more about service dogs and you know you need help and the guidance of a professional service dog trainer, I encourage you to send me a message, reach out to me. You can comment on this audio file and we'll set up a free consult together. One of the services I do offer is coaching people through finding a dog to train as a service dog. Finding the right dog is more than just walking into a shelter and picking out the dog that tugs at your heartstrings. And there's a lot of problems that can be avoided early on if people are picking out the dog that's actually a good fit for them and a good fit for what they need. And that absolutely comes back to what's a good breed for a service dog. Thank you for listening.